The shadow narrative, using negative space to define small Parisian studio layouts. Welcome to Una's Ideas channel. In the dense urban fabric of Paris, where living quarters are often reclaimed from 19th century attics, we frequently obsess over what to put in a room. We focus on the velvet sofa, the marble bistro table, or the vintage mirror. However, true design mastery in a narrow studio isn't about the objects themselves, but the silence between them. This is the shadow narrative, the intentional use of negative space to create a sense of breath in a place that should, by all laws of physics, feel suffocating. When we look at a floor plan of a 20 square meter studio, our instinct is to fill every empty corner to maximize utility. But in Parisian design, the void is a functional tool. By leaving a section of a wall completely bare or keeping a floor path wider than necessary, we trick the eye into perceiving abundance. Negative space isn't wasted space. It is the frame that allows the rest of your life to be viewed as art rather than clutter. Narrow rooms often trigger a subconscious tunnel effect, making residents feel hurried or trapped. To counter this, we must use shadows and light to break the linear path. By intentionally creating dark pockets or dead zones where nothing happens, we provide the brain with a visual resting point. This contrast ensures that the areas where you do live, your bed or your desk, feel more significant and intentional rather than just squeezed in. Most small Parisian apartments come with inherent architectural character: crown molding, high baseboards, and deep windowsills. The shadow narrative suggests we shouldn't obscure these with tall wardrobes. Instead, by keeping furniture low and away from the edges, we allow the shadows cast by the moldings to define the room's perimeter. This highlights the bones of the studio, making the history of the building part of the current furniture arrangement. In a cramped layout, every leg of a chair counts. To lean into the negative space philosophy, we look for furniture that appears to float. Wall-mounted shelves or desks with slim, tapered legs allow the floor to run underneath them. When the eye can follow the floor all the way to the baseboard, the brain registers more square footage. The shadow cast under a floating cabinet provides a depth that a solid block of wood simply cannot. Many Parisian studios are essentially long corridors with windows at one end. The traditional mistake is lining both walls with storage, creating a literal trench. The shadow narrative dictates that one wall should remain the quiet wall. By leaving one side largely empty, you create a dedicated lane of negative space. This asymmetry feels more natural and organic, mimicking the winding, irregular streets of the Marais outside your window. Color plays a massive role in how shadows define a space. Using a monochromatic palette, various shades of off-white or light gray, allows the natural shadows of the room to become the primary decor. As the sun moves across a Parisian sky, the shifting gray tones in the corners of your room create a living, breathing wallpaper. This keeps the design minimalist while ensuring it never feels sterile or flat. We all know mirrors double a space, but from an educational standpoint, mirrors are actually tools for managing negative space. By reflecting an empty wall onto a crowded one, you balance the visual weight of the room. A mirror shouldn't just show your face. It should be positioned to borrow the emptiness from one part of the studio and transplant it into a narrow hallway to break the tension. Sometimes a room feels too small because it is too smooth. Adding a single oversized object like a large sculptural lamp creates intentional friction with the surrounding negative space. This large item acts as an anchor. By having one big thing instead of 10 small things, the empty space around that anchor becomes charged with energy. It turns a small room into a curated gallery where every inch matters. Artificial lighting in a narrow studio shouldn't aim for total coverage. To respect the shadow narrative, use pools of light. A warm lamp in a corner leaves the rest of the wall in a soft, hazy shadow. This creates a sense of mystery. If you see everything at once, the room feels small. If parts are hidden in shadow, the room feels as though it could go on forever. In a studio, you often lack physical doors between the bedroom and living area. You can create these boundaries using negative space as a threshold. By leaving a 30-centimeter gap of nothing between the end of the rug and the start of the bed, you create a psychological doorway. This gap acts as a transition zone, signaling to your brain that you are moving from one room to another without a wall. We often forget that the space above our heads is the largest patch of negative space we own. In Paris, ceilings are often the most beautiful feature. By avoiding overhead boob lights and using low-level floor lamps, the ceiling remains in a soft, vaulted shadow. This draws the eyes upward but keeps the atmosphere cozy. It emphasizes the height of the room, which is the best defense against a narrow floor plan. When we do need storage, it should be designed to disappear. Built-in wardrobes painted the exact same color as the walls turn a functional object into a flat plane. This creates a blank canvas of negative space. By hiding the visual noise of clothing and books, you allow the negative space to take center stage, making the remaining furniture feel like deliberate choices rather than necessities. Shadows on a flat, plastered wall are different from shadows on a linen curtain or a brick wall. To make a small studio feel human and warm, you need texture. The way light hits a rough-hewn wooden beam creates a complex web of tiny shadows. These microshadows provide visual interest that fills the room without taking up a single millimeter of actual physical space. The Parisian winter is gray and long, while the summer is bright and harsh. A well-designed studio uses negative space to adapt to these seasons. In the winter, the shadows are deep and blue, making the apartment feel like a protective cocoon. In the summer, the bright negative space reflects the heat and light, making the narrow rooms feel airy. Design should be a dialogue with the city's climate. Can you have stuff and still have negative space? Yes, through clustering. Instead of spreading your objects evenly across all surfaces, bunch them together in one area. This leaves the rest of the surface as a quiet zone. This contrast between the busy cluster and the silent negative space creates a sophisticated, lived-in feel that is very typical of modern Parisian apartments. In a narrow space, every piece of furniture must justify its existence. It shouldn't just be a chair, it should be a shape. A chair with a curved back creates a unique silhouette against the negative space of a white wall. When you view your furniture as sculpture, the empty space around it becomes the air that a sculpture needs to be appreciated. This is the difference between storage and styling. The window is the ultimate source of negative space because it connects the studio to the outside world. In Paris, the view of the zinc roofs is your extended living room. By not obscuring the window with heavy drapes, you allow the negative space of the sky to enter the room. This visual escape hatch is essential for surviving and thriving in a narrow urban environment. Negative space also has an acoustic dimension. A room packed with objects is muffled and heavy. A room with intentional negative space has a slight resonance. This airiness in sound contributes to the feeling of a larger home. Using hard surfaces for negative space and soft surfaces for living zones helps balance the acoustics, making the studio feel vibrant rather than dull. Often we fill rooms because we are afraid of the emptiness, but the shadow narrative encourages us to leave room for the future. Leaving a corner empty is an invitation for a future memory, a future plant, or just a place to stand and breathe. In a city as fast-paced as Paris, Having a physical pause button in your home is the ultimate luxury, regardless of the square footage. Many people feel a sense of panic when moving into a narrow studio, immediately buying small furniture that actually makes the room look cluttered. The educational takeaway here is to stop. Look at the shadows first. Map out where the light doesn't reach and where the natural paths are. Use those invisible lines to dictate your layout, rather than the dimensions of a catalog sofa. Ultimately, the shadow narrative is about a shift in perspective. It's the realization that a small Parisian studio isn't a limitation to be overcome, but a puzzle to be celebrated. By prioritizing negative space and the beauty of shadows, we create homes that feel expansive, thoughtful, and deeply human. In the heart of Paris, we don't just live in rooms. We live in the atmosphere we create between the walls.